Better than Lego. Better than Lego.
Matthew Johns is in position for a long-range shot. He's with it now, Matthew Johns. Here goes the kick from Johns.
Okay, welcome to John's Family Podcast for this week, people. And, we're going to do what's on the cards. Well, firstly, we've been videoed. So, hello, everyone. This first episode, Trish, I think we've been videoed.
Well, no, we've been videoed about 5 times, but this might be the first one that gets aired.
Trish is trying to get her makeup right, so this could be the first one that gets aired. We're going to talk about all the family events of the week, your feedback, what's getting on Cooper's Goat, Jack's must-listen-to song of the week, and today's theme, which was thought up by Jack Johns, people who were cool and stayed cool, and those who were cool, which are no longer cool. Cool? Okay. Now, how are you, boys? Going good?
Mate, I'm going well, thank you. How are you going, Jackie boy?
Good, mate. Going good.
Yeah, going good. Well, we just had a little bit of technology trouble before, and we felt the wrath of Jack. Trish, now you and I are off to the premiere of the Game of Thrones prequel. Look, I'm just freestyling. I actually don't know. I don't even know what we're off to.
Yeah, I RSVP'd on our behalf because I wanted to go.
So I don't watch Game of Thrones. I haven't watched an episode.
Well, you haven't yet. Yeah, we're going to watch the prequel next week, House of the Dragon, a premiere. It starts later in August on Foxtel, but we're getting to go to the premiere next week, which is pretty lucky since I've just watched all 8 series.
God, I hate going to premieres.
Seasons, rather.
I hate going to premieres.
Oh, shush, stop whining.
Anyway.
You have to come because I can't go without you.
If
I need you.
I might be a late cancellation. Someone can fill in. If you were a Game of Thrones, one of your old boyfriends, maybe, you know, the blonde one, good-looking fella, we'll get him. If you're a Game of Thrones character, who would you be? Jack Johns, start with you, and why?
Matthew, I went with... who did I go with? I went with Robb Stark or just one of the Starks. I've never watched an episode of Game of Thrones. To be honest, I don't ever want to. I don't know. Cooper, have you ever watched it?
Oh,
I watched them all. I thoroughly enjoyed them.
same too. I think Jack might be a bit more like, since Jack hasn't watched it, I think he might be a bit more like Tyrion.
What about you, House of Dragon?
I'm going with Daenerys Targaryen.
Have you ever watched this show?
Name. Yeah, but I used to just call her Khaleesi, and then she reverted back to her original name.
I like that.
You know what? She turned bad in the end. She kind of lost the plot. But she had a hard life. Being tough.
Is that spoilers,
so
Trish?
I'll just forgive it for her.
Spoiler territory?
No. And I'd really like a dragon.
Geez, you've really sold it. What about you, Coop?
I actually picked Jaime Lannister.
Oh.
He lost his arm.
Hand.
But he's actually but he's also he also ended up dating his sister for a little bit. They would end up hanging out, doing some things together, and when they got caught by a young child, one of the Starks, he actually pushed that child out of the window. So I thought that's a man who's just willing to do anything for love, and that's who I thought I would like to be.
Yeah, quite literally anything for love.
People used to think Trish and I were brother and sister.
Yeah, I know. We did get mistaken a couple of times.
We are.
Don't they say that you're usually attracted to people that look like you?
Yeah.
I guess when you look at your offspring, like Cooper Johns, when he come out of the womb, I can assume a few people thought he might have been a bit inbred.
Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't very nice.
7 glass houses, Jack. No, but letting people know we aren't related.
We're not related.
I've gone Frodo Baggins.
Who's that?
Isn't that Lord of the Rings cover?
What? Oh, is it?
Are you serious?
Because I jumped on today. I just jumped on notable characters Game of Thrones, and Frodo Baggins comes up. Yeah.
Your research is trash.
Boys, just quickly, congratulations. 18th man victories. Jack, before we move on to Cooper, congratulations to you, mate. I know that you took a leaf out of Cooper's book at Campbelltown Stadium and dressed the side before kick-off. It did the trick. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, Cobber. As I grabbed our wrestler coach, Rory Kost-Jason, before the game, I said it's pretty much going to come down to which 18th man warms up the best, and I think I got the nod.
You got the chocolates, no doubt. Who was their 18th man, by the way?
It might have been Luke. No, it wasn't Luke Garner. He was injured. Not too sure. I'm not too
It
sure.
doesn't
You know what I
matter.
mean?
You owned him.
I'm the type of player that doesn't need to look at the opposition. I just got to be my best. You know what I'm saying, Cobber?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Cooper, congratulations to you, mate. I believe that your 18th man speech was so good that Craig went, you know what, mate, throw me jersey, you're in.
He said, hey, you take that jersey off and give it to this fella. Thanks, Craig, for doing that. Yeah, it was good. Good to get another game in first grade, Cobbo, and it was good to make up for the last performance against Penrith. So it was nice to put that together.
Good on you, mate. And as we're recording this, or as people are hearing this, you're going into another game against Penrith, which is...
No, he will have had. Last night.
Yes, it's all very confusing. But great game, tough road trip at Penrith, but I think you'll give a good account of yourself.
Past tense is an amazing thing. Coop, do you want to actually give us a debrief of the game that happened last night?
Mate, I can't. I'm still buzzing from that field goal I kicked.
Oh, wouldn't it be good if that was true?
Oh, God. I tell you what was unusual sitting watching the game is at the moment we've got Georgia Frizzell living with us.
Yeah.
Now, Georgia's parents, Rebecca and Brett, with the Kellys, they own the Titans. So we're sitting on the couch, and whenever you guys would score, I'd look at Georgia and say, God, I'm so sorry, because they're in a tough run. And then when they scored, she'd look at me and go, oh, Matt, I'm so sorry. I said, look, let's
Hey,
put
she
an
didn't say sorry.
No.
She did not say sorry.
I said, let's put an end to this. I went into the bedroom, watched the game.
He
Shut
did.
the door, watched the game. I said, I just can't sit there, and we just keep apologising to one another.
It was funny. Oh, she was a great sport.
Now, first of the themes. Let's get into this. Name a star who was cool in the past and is still considered cool today. Jack, this is your subject. Lead off for us, mate.
Cobber, I went with Clint Eastwood. I think Clint Eastwood was cool back then, and I think he's still pretty cool now.
I
do
totally
too.
agree.
Yeah, that's a great
If
one.
not even cooler.
Yeah, I think so too.
Coolio. Could you do Coolio? Is Coolio as cool
Yeah,
as he was?
I
when he did
reckon he was.
Who knows where Coolio is and what he's doing?
Okay. He's doing really well.
What's he doing?
I bought his new album.
Oh, you're a joke. Stop
Coolio
it.
too. Was it Coolio sung Gangster's Paradise?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
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 Anyway,
Yeah.
down. Trish?
I went with David Hasselhoff.
Cool still?
Yeah, I think
Is he?
so.
Is he? And what's he done lately?
ANZ,
Well,
ANZ, yeah, commercial.
ANZ commercials. He went through a bit of a lull. I mean, because he was Knight Rider originally, and then he went through a bit of a lull where I think he was drunk and he was a
You missed a Baywatch.
sort of
there.
Baywatch, of course.
Yeah.
He sort of was on a bit of a tirade, if I'm not mistaken.
And you're missing the fact that when the wall came down, he did the first ever song.
Yeah, well, I know that.
He was literally dancing on the Berlin Wall as it was being crushed and singing.
So, but I think he's so kind of
Quirky.
a little bit uncool that he's cool.
Yeah, I got that.
You know what I
It's a
mean?
bit like the David Koch back in the day when people said, what are you putting that guy in finance on the sunrise? But it worked. Everyone went, oh, he's so cool. He's such a
Like,
dork
no, that's
that it
like the
actually
nerd
works."
factor,
Yeah.
like the nerd, the cool nerd. Yeah.
Cooper?
I actually had Mr. T. I thought Mr. T's still cool. People still dress up as Mr. T. I don't know what he's doing these days.
The last time I saw Mr. T, you wanted to fight me.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
he's not very
Yeah.
well humoured.
Yeah, we did a Reg skit, me and Mr. T, and at the end I did a couple of Reg things. He didn't think it was that funny. I went to give him a big hug at the end, he pushed me away, and then the people from Snickers came over and said, well done, he's going to get on the next plane out of here, which he didn't. He was the bigger man and hung around. But yeah, I thought if someone would have told me back in the mid-'80s that one day I was nearly going to get into a fight with Mr. T, I would have just, well, you could have blown me over with a feather.
Didn't you nearly also get into a fight with someone else? Wasn't it Big?
Yeah,
from Sex and the City?
Yeah, Reg nearly got into
After
a
a
fight.
Logie?
Yes,
Reg really offends a lot of people.
Well,
really.
Reg took Big, whatever his name was, Chris North.
Big, yeah.
North?
Noth.
North.
N-O-T-H.
Took him to task because he had a go. He said something disparaging to Kerry Ann Kenley, and Reg and Kerry Ann
are
were quite good
close.
friends.
They are.
And she was quite.
She's very
so when he
sweet.
went past, I said, "Oh, they call you Big," and I gave him a little tickle on the penis and said, "I'm hearing other things." And he goes,
That's actually on YouTube. If you go the best of Reg Reagan or Reg Reagan at the Logies, it's got it, and you end up having a little push and shove. And you know what? Reg, I was going to say Reg, is cool and still stays cool. I think when you go back and look at the old Reg clips, it's a lot of the humour is still relevant, still very funny.
Is it?
Can I give you my favourite Reg moment?
Yeah.
It's actually at the Logies as well. Jessica Simpson walks past and you're going, mate, you join Australia? She goes, yeah. And then she walks, security is dragging her away. You go, mate, how's OJ? How's OJ going?
I don't think I've seen that one. Oh, dear.
Oh, I can't remember that.
No surprise.
Anyway, I was oftentimes intoxicated when I was Reg. Well, method acting. I've gone a couple of things. I've gone Brad Pitt.
Oh, yeah.
I think the reason he takes great roles. His roles are really strong roles. He's a hero type, but an earthy, normal hero, not like macho Superman, superhero type one. I mean, Snatch and Glorious Bastards, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, they're great roles. Other honourable mentions, Mickey Rourke, Morgan Freeman and Christian Bale.
Oh, I don't know. I disagree with Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke, man, I love Mickey Rourke. Okay, Trish, this week, what have you been up to? What's happening? Firstly, say this, Varley, Olivia Newton-John.
It's very sad.
What an absolute legend.
Like, I think loads of people around, like loads of girls at my vintage, we grew up wanting to be Olivia Newton-John.
Yeah.
Like, she was wholesome. You know what? You know, a lot of the young girls these days, they've got these
young girls.
superstars, you know, that they look towards, but I don't know that a lot of them are wholesome.
Her dad was a lecturer at Newcastle University.
He was.
He was also the professor, the adjudicator on Sale of the Century.
Oh, was he?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
I remember I was listening this morning on the Ray Hadley show. They played Banks of the Ohio. It's the only song I could play on the recorder. And why is that relevant? No reason. I heard the song.
Can
And
I ask you? Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
you keep going, Cobber.
You go, no, please.
Thank you. I was going to ask, can I ask you two, what's your favourite Olivia Newton-John song?
Without a doubt, A Little More Love, which I always thought was written by Barry Gibb, but it was written by a fellow called John Farrar, who's another iconic Australian writer. He wrote Hopelessly Devoted to You and most of the songs on Grease. It was a top 10 song in every country in the world where they had charts. Boys, Jack, your favourite Olivia Newton-John song? Is there one?
I don't have one, Cobb. I did see John Travolta's tribute to her today. He finished. What did he finish with? He says, "You're Danny, you're John," which I thought was a little bit cringy, but he gets away with it. Yeah.
It was a great movie. Also, Varley to Johnny Famechon, one of Australia's greatest ever boxers. As Jeff Fennick said, Famechon was Floyd Mayweather before Floyd. Righto, guys. A couple of things which I want to bring up. Firstly, I received a phone call today from Phil Rothfield, right? And Buzz rang me and goes, "Hey, mate, how are you, Matty?" And I'm like, "Buzz, what's doing?" And he goes, "Mate, listen."
So how aggressive was that? What's doing?
What is doing, Buzz? And he goes, "Mate, I just received a phone call from Ray Hadley." And I went, "Oh, geez, here we go." I said, "Yeah." "Mate, Hadley told me that he reckons someone from a hair fusion company rang you, want you to be the face of it." And I said, "Mate, things that you tell Hadley, that we just say, mate, don't tell anyone." And he's just gone straight to Buzz and told him. So Buzz goes, "Mate, would you mind if on Sunday I write it and we can do a bit of a thing, you know, we'll get you to wear a wig?" And I said, "Look, Buzz, let's not do it. I cop enough," which is my second story. The other day, people went through drive-through McDonald's and Trish is grabbing my hair. Can you test me? It is my hair.
Yeah, it is yours.
It is my hair.
Because you wouldn't do that on purpose.
No. Anyway, I went through drive-through McDonald's. Anyway, I've ordered something to eat, and all of a sudden, all the young people start gathering at the drive-through window, and I'm thinking, what the is going on here? And I'm standing there, and I thought, oh, no, please don't send me down. You know, they send you to the waiting bay. And you go, oh, no. And they said, "Excuse me?" And I went, "Yep." And he goes, we didn't know you had a brother." And I just went, they all started laughing. And I was like, oh, my God, kill me now.
I thought that was great. It was at Beacon Hill.
What about you, Trish? What's caught your fancy this week?
Well, yeah, not a lot. I've had a pretty quiet week.
Okay, well, let's move on to-
No, I'm focusing on Charlie. Like, the anal glands needed expressing again. Yeah. One was fine, one was full, so lucky we took that.
Charlie is our next door neighbour. He's a great guy. We went to his 60th birthday the other day, and we just take him to a vet's because we can, and they
It's cheaper.
They milk his anal glands.
Yeah, so that's all sorted. But she's actually going in this week to have her teeth cleaned and scaled, and no doubt she'll lose a few. So I'll update you on that next week. But remember how I did the whole 6-week program where I was gently putting the toothbrush into her mouth with the peanut butter flavoured toothpaste, so that when she comes out, I've got to brush her teeth 3 times a week.
Oh, you miss strength.
Yeah, well, I'm not really on track with that. Like, she'll begrudgingly let me pop it into her
Well,
mouth.
it's been
so
a big
she
week
licks
for
it
you,
off.
Trish. Now, let's move on. Name a sports star who was considered cool when they played and are still considered very cool.
Can I go first? I love mine.
Someone tells me
Beckham.
you're not going to... Sorry?
David Beckham.
Is he?
Yeah, in fact, he's cooler now than he ever was.
Geez, I'll take you to task on that.
Well, I follow him on Instagram, Matthew, and I think I'm right.
Oh, really?
And I think his millions of followers would also agree. He took his daughter to the weekend concert the other day and he was singing along. It was cute.
What a wanker.
And little dad moving.
What a
It was
wanker.
cute.
Because he knows the cameras are on him, that's why.
Well, I think he was videoing it, so I'm pretty sure
there
the
you
cameras
go.
were on him.
Double wanker.
Yeah.
You are not cool. Cooper?
I actually had your brother, Andrew Johns. I thought he's pretty cool. A lot of people would probably agree. He still does some cool stuff. I would have said you as well,
Such
Cobber. I think former sports star, obviously, but I think you've almost not stayed cool. I think you've gotten cooler.
I agree. Well said,
debatable.
Cooper. I'll back that up. That is probably the most accurate thing you've ever said. What about you, Jack?
Well, I guess, Cole, there was only one way but up after that Channel 7 show. But I've gone
Please
with
don't bring that up.
I've gone with Michael Jordan, Cobber. He was cool and he stayed cool, I think. He never really had any issues off the court, which does help. But as a bit of a contrast factor, I've brought in my favourite sports star that actually was cool, not so cool, but has suddenly come cool again. He's done the full circle, which there's a few of them, which will come up. I've gone with Tiger Woods, Cobber, obviously such a great golfer. But obviously during his scandal period, which some would say even made him cooler for a period, until, of course, the prostitutes come out and started telling stories. I've got 4 articles here with the headlines. Let me just read them out to you as to why I think he probably lost his coolness during this period.
Oh.
He reportedly told one of his first mistresses that his fantasy was to watch her have sex with Derek Jeter and David Berenzas.
Who are they?
I think they were baseballers.
Right.
A couple of characters on Sesame Street.
The next one was he once texted an adult film star to ask if she ever had a golden shower done to her. Yeah. And then the next one was he apparently really loves getting women to wear red underwear. And there's a really weird reason for it. It was his mum's favourite colour, which is a bit weird.
Getting worse.
And then my favourite one, which, someone could probably argue this is pretty cool. He reportedly likes to eat Fruit Loops and watch cartoons after sex.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's
Cooper,
all Sam
what
Toucan.
are your thoughts on that?
I think there's a lot of therapy needed there.
Yeah, well, me personally, one of my teammates is the other stuff doesn't relate to it, but the red panties stuff, I know Felice Kafushi's a little bit like that. He always talks about the red panties in his relationship, so I'm not sure whether it's for the same reason, but he does mention that a lot around the training traps.
Do you remember the scene in Old School? Will Ferrell's sitting there with the marriage counsellor and his wife, and they go, "Okay, what we're going to do here is we're going to sit in the tree of trust. You can say anything. Is everyone cool with that? Yeah." And they ask him, what's his name in it? Frank. So Frank, what
the
about you?
Tank.
He goes, "Yeah, I was sitting there the other day and I was looking at this attractive woman, and I was thinking to myself, I wonder what colour her underwear is. Was it one of those lacy?" And his wife just starts staring at him. And the psychologist is going, "Oh, yeah." And he goes, "Oh, sorry. Aren't we in the trust tree?" I've gone Eric Cantona.
It's more like a shrub.
Eric Cantona, the rebel Frenchman, of course, who he played at Manchester United, started at Leeds, went to Man U, and a Frenchman with aristocratic ways who would become a working class hero up in the north of Manchester. Who would have thought?
Yeah, are you sure Eric Cantona is he still cool? Because he hasn't really done much since his football career, has he?
He did a lot of acting.
And he was in a Liam Gallagher's film clip.
He's been in numerous movies. A good tip for people: there's I think a really excellent film that came out about 5 years ago called Looking for Eric. It's about a guy in Manchester who's really down on his luck, and his hero's Eric Cantona. And honestly, it's worth a watch. It's really, really good, feel good film. Okay, let's go Predicament of the Week, people. All right, just think about this one. This is not as straightforward as many of the others. This is going to take a little bit of thought and imagination. Right, I'm going to direct this firstly to you, Trish. Okay, you're going to a concert. Mm-hmm. You line up. You're about to go in. Mm-hmm. In front of you is an excited 10-year-old celebrating her birthday. She goes up. She hands the ticket, but the ticket's a fraud. What do you do?
Am I allowed to ask who is the artist?
Lady Gaga.
Oh. Yeah, no, you know what? No, I'm sorry. I'm going.
You going? So
I'm older. Let's face it. I'm not going to have that many more opportunities to see Lady Gaga.
Yep.
She's 10. She's going to have loads more opportunities. Yeah, I'm sorry.
See, I like Lady Gaga, but I just wouldn't want to see her in really, that concert wouldn't be a biggie for me. So what I would do, I'd get you to film me handing my ticket to her and then posting it so I look like,
like a saint?
Yeah, like a saint. Like David Beckham. No, but I'd give her the ticket. Say, look, 10th birthday, there you go, like an autograph on the way for the McDonald's commercial. Yeah, you boys.
Yeah, Cobra, I'm going to do probably what Trish is doing. I think, I'm not getting any younger. I'd like to go and see Lady Gaga. And just quietly, she's not getting any younger. I don't want to see her when she's, over 60 or something like that. I prefer to watch her now when she's in her prime. So sorry to that young 10-year-old, but... I think she's probably more suited for a Wiggles concert or something like that.
Says the man who got thrown out, him and his mates, deadbeat mates, got thrown out of an
Adele
concert for threatening a guy because he said he was singing too loud. That's gone past the pale. What about you, Jack?
Yeah, Cobra, I'm not going. I'm not that big a fan of Lady Gaga. If it was someone else, maybe, but no.
Yeah, so you're going to hand your ticket over?
Yeah, why not? Why not? I literally did it the other day. I was crook. So I was crook last week. And I had tickets to the Strokes. I had 2 tickets. And I put it on my feed, and then this one kid offered me like $40 for them. And I was like, you know what, screw it. I said, you have a good night. And he messaged me just yesterday, actually. He said he had the best night.
Oh, that's nice.
So jealous.
Yeah.
Little bastard.
Where was he from? Was he Newcastle or Sydney?
Yeah, I think he's a Newy kid.
Yeah, right. Nice.
Yeah. There you go, Jack.
It's nice to do nice things.
Karma. That'll come back to you,
Yeah.
mate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Sure. Certainly will. We'll take a quick break on that happy note. We'll take a break, and when we come back, Jack's going to pick his Song of the Week. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're enjoying the podcast and being filmed for the first time or put out for the first time. Hey, God, I don't know what I don't know what I'm doing.
There or there. That's
Which
your
one?
camera. That's your camera.
Okay.
Or there. I thought you were meant to do television. I thought you were supposed to have an idea of this.
So, yeah, I know.
Amateur.
Jack, what's your song for the week, pal?
Mate, my song for the week. Now, on the weekend, we actually stayed at Warwick Farm. We stayed at Warwick Farm Racecourse on the weekend. There's a hotel. It's a horse-themed hotel, right?
Is it?
I love it.
It was bizarre. It was so bizarre. But it was a nice hotel. It was the English something. I can't remember. English something near Liverpool there. And because obviously we played in Campbelltown. And we stayed. Our team room was in a barn, like a stable, and like it was. I couldn't explain it to you. It is so bizarre. And then on top of that on Saturday night, the night we stayed, Darryl Braithwaite was playing. He was playing a live concert with that jockey from The Voice in the auditorium. So
Really?
The hotel was packed full of people, ready to go to this concert. And obviously my song for the week is Horses by Darryl Braithwaite, because it got a few run-ins after the game on the bus home. But me and Matty Croker were in the elevator on the way up to our rooms. And we're sitting there, and there's this bloke pops in and he goes, "How are you boys? You boys playing the Tigers tomorrow?" And yeah. And he goes, "Oh, you come to see Darryl Braithwaite?" He goes, "Actually, I'm the keyboard player." I went, "Oh, yeah?" He goes, "Yeah." You got real cynical real quick and goes, "Can't wait to play horses for the 500th time."
Oh, no.
And we're laughing. No, we were laughing. We're laughing, and he was a good fella. He seemed like a really good fella. And then we popped out of the out of the elevator, and he goes, "Good luck tomorrow." And we go, "Mate, good luck tonight." He goes, "Ha, trust me, yous aren't missing anything."
Oh, yeah. Mate, I love that. Because every time I hear poor Daryl Braithwaite sing, I think he must be f***ing sick of this song. Imagine a concert, you're going down the list and you're going, oh, it's getting closer. It's getting closer. And everyone just absolutely loves it, and you're hating life. Whenever I hear that song, I always think of drunk women with high heels in their hands. Guys, name a singer or a band who was considered cool and still are cool. Cooper Johns, you've been quiet for a couple of minutes there.
My one was actually a singer. I had Snoop Dogg.
Oh, you got me.
Good one.
Oh, mate, I'm sorry. Mate, I just feel like Snoop D or Double G, he just stays in fashion all the time.
Totally agree. Jack Johns, you had Snoop, huh? Snoop
I
Lion?
had Snoop, but come around to me, I'll find someone else.
Okay. Trish?
Keith Richards for me.
True.
Yeah, he's the dude.
Any man that snorts his dad's ashes is okay by me. Yeah. Well, talking about
Do you think he was high when he did that? Or did it intentionally?
I don't know. I've gone Ozzy Osbourne, talking about people who sniff stuff. Remember, Jack told the story where he sniffed a colony of ants once. Is that true, Jack?
That is true. He was trying to one-up Nicky Six from the Motley Crue at a hotel whilst they were on tour, and Motley Crue were the support gig for Ozzy. And he was
Wow.
they were drinking. What were they doing? They were trying to drink urine whilst Ozzy was drinking his own urine in a big puddle by the pool, and then he tried to one up them by going to the end of a line of colony of ants that were going out eating breadcrumbs, and he snorted them all the way in back to the colony.
Fancy that at the back of your throat.
Oh,
That's
God.
disgusting.
And that's the thing I love
Yeah.
about Ozzy Osbourne. It's just he's Ozzy Osbourne. He hasn't changed. He's completely f***ed himself up on all manner of substances, and I respect that.
Oh, there's brain damage there, do you think?
No, I wouldn't say that. He performed at the closing ceremony, actually, at the Com Games, and was awesome.
Which Com Games?
Birmingham forever. Because
now?
he's a Birmingham boy.
Oh, I see. I didn't
Birmingham
realise.
is one of the hubs of rock and roll in the world.
I know.
Led Zeppelin. And around Birmingham, there's little tributes to Ozzy and Sabbath. There's a Black Sabbath bridge in Birmingham, and there's quotes everywhere in Ozzy Osbourne. There's one that I see that sits in a pub, and it goes, a quote from Ozzy, it goes, "Of all things I've lost, I miss my mind the most," which I think is good. Honourable mention too for, well, actually, Jack, you go. I don't want to steal another one of yours.
You know what? I got a weird one. And this is up for debate. I've gone with, now he's passed away now only recently, but up until his death, he was still cool. I would go with Prince. Now,
absolutely.
Let me push my argument. Now, he might not have been cool, and the 80s might have been his best era, and he might have taken the 80s with him into the new decades. But he was very, he didn't put himself out there too much. I think that's pretty important with artists. I think some of them, if they're out there too much, people find more to hate. But I think he probably maintained his coolness, even though not many people could rock what he was wearing all the time and still be respected.
Yeah, well, that's it. He was quite a recluse, incredibly shy. I heard a good, Dave Grohl said the other day that Prince came and said to him, "I'd like to come and meet you and jam with you." And he said, "We sat all night just playing Led Zeppelin, both of us on a guitar."
Yeah. I think someone just recently told me a story about coming into contact with him when he was touring in Australia many years ago, and look how lovely he was. But he used to go after concerts and things to quiet bars, unannounced, and do little gigs.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Which is pretty cool.
Honourable mentions for me, Paul Kelly, I think is still as cool. Steven Tyler, Aerosmith, Beastie Boys, and Liam Gallagher. And the last one people might scoff at, but I just love this bloke, Huey Lewis. I know Huey Lewis is...
I haven't seen Huey for a bit.
Yeah, he's deaf now, Huey.
He's deaf?
Yeah, he's deaf. Hey, what'd you say? Yeah, no, he's deaf because all the feedback through the years. Trish, talking about feedback, what do you got for us from your peoples?
Oh, I've got lots.
You always say you've got lots. Let's just identify the good stuff.
Because you're taking my time. Jamie, who lives on a goat and cattle property in southwest Queensland, wrote he and his girlfriend were driving through the night and she was falling asleep. So he put on the family podcast. She reckons she kept waking up to him bursting out laughing.
You said on cattle and goats. I did that thing the other day with Matty, a man, where I had to artificially inseminate a
Don't say that. I don't
cow.
actually like the sound of that.
Yeah, well,
Come
try
try
and put
it.
your hand up.
was
Try and put your hand up a
approached.
cow's ass.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was approached today by our club doctor who has had experience with these sorts of things in farms, and he said his friend sent it to you, and he was in disbelief that my father is that much of a coward. I didn't. I tried to defend you, Cobber, but the evidence he put forward was just too much.
Well, Jack, I received a phone call on Saturday morning, and I'm looking at what's this number, and I go, hello? He goes, yep. And I go, who's this? I said, who is this? He goes, Wayne Bennett. And I thought, hell, what have I done to offend Wayne? I said, what's going on, Super Coach? He goes, you must be the only bloke in all of the Hunter Valley to be scared of cattle. He said, mate, I've watched it about 5 times, me and Justin. I'm still pissing myself laughing. I thought, is Wayne losing his mind?
It is actually another person who came up and talked about it, Chris Lewis, whose family actually owns a Wagyu farm up in North New South Wales.
Yeah,
He was so obviously they do a lot of internal artificial, whatever you call it,
Insemination.
artificial insemination. He was very disappointed at your efforts as well. He described it as being a very easy task on a farm.
Oh.
Well, that's fine. Maybe you could get Chris Lewis and place him on the Sunday Night with Matty John set and see how he hosts. So maybe I'll be a little bit disappointed in him. Chris, good for you, mate. We've all got our gifts. RDR. Yours is being a moron. Sorry, Trish. Continue.
Don't offend people, Matthew. Continuing on with Jamie, he's very clever though. He was saying rather than the Kevolution that everyone's referring to up at the Broncos, he's a Bronco supporter this year, he's asking why aren't they actually calling it the renovation?
Yeah, I like that. Maybe we can have a Kevolution and a renovation.
Because he thinks that Renault is the season by.
And maybe an iconitis.
After you guys weren't very polite about Jack on the podcast last week, you got a lot of love, Jack. A lot
I got a lot
of
of love.
messages, a lot of love. People love you. They love your subtleness, your style, and your intelligence. What I did notice, though, there were a lot of girls sending these messages.
Right. Right. Well,
So I don't know
I was
why.
expecting a lot of hate. I think last week was probably one of
No
the worst
hate.
performance on the podcast.
No. But Jazz did say, no way was Cooper's stand-up an 8.5 and mine a 5. She said mine's definitely winning because mine was actually a stand-up. His was a story. So
Okay.
it'll be interesting.
So are you taking the one opinion of some absolute
My
buffoon?
friend Jazz, who's obviously very intelligent.
Thank you for
Very
your low
clever.
standards, Jazz.
Jared sent in, we were asking about what O.J. Simpson's up to these days. He's alive and well on Twitter.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
Okay.
like long-winded messages,
It's funny, some
talking
people
about
get
birthdays.
banned by Twitter, but OJ's okay.
OJ's
Actually,
okay.
I'll tell you something. Last night, I think, because as we were talking about, remember we were discussing a while ago at the start of the year when Kanye went on his Instagram raids,
Yep.
and then got banned by Instagram. Well, he came back last night. He was back on, and he put a fake news article out that Pete Davidson had died at age 28. Fair to say, it was
That's
removed after about 2 hours.
And has he been banned again?
No, well, he's got no post there, so I don't know if he's been banned or if he's just been blocked or something like that. Who knows?
Jeez, what a nightmare.
Hey, do you reckon
Jack?
Kanye's still cool? Everyone?
Yes, I do.
I don't.
I do.
Yeah. I think he's
I mean,
cool
his
as.
music's good, but
I like him.
I'm not inviting him over for Christmas lunch or anything.
I've just received a text message just now.
Oh,
This is
don't.
ironic from co-host on the SEN show, Andrew Webster. Webby's just said, "Hey Matty, saw Black Sabbath at the closing ceremony last night.
Stop it.
Ozzy and the band did not miss a f***ing beat." He said. He continues on, mate. Absolutely awesome. He screamed at the end, "Birmingham forever," and then hobbled off stage. What an amazing man. I agree. Webber, your timing is
Wow.
Could he
Yeah.
possibly be on the CBD oil like Andrew Johns, Cobber?
perfect. You've got to make sure with Joey, his is legal. I know. I always say, mate, how's your pot going, mate? How's your chugging? He goes, mate, it's legal. It's legal stuff. Of course it is.
Jack, we had someone ask, why do you call Matt Cobber?
I don't know. I think when I think I started. It started when all the Triple M boys used to call him Cobber.
Yeah.
And then I went away on that trip with them to the US, to New York, and I think it just caught on, and I also started calling him Cobber as well.
That was a great trip, wasn't it?
That was a good trip. Spring Lounge.
Matt, Cooper
Halloween
and I weren't
night.
there, so we won't be talking about it
Halloween
any further.
night's one of the greatest nights of
Yeah.
my life, that night.
Anyway, Matt asked, who was the hardest player you ever played against, or who you feared the most?
Hardest player I've ever played against? I reckon the toughest is Jeff Tuvey. Without toughest,
But-
pound for pound, the toughest, I think, close to the toughest ever played the game with, along with Tom Radonicus. Who I feared? I tell you,
Is that one and the same thing?
oh no, because you don't. But there's some guys who hit really hard that you go. Tell you who hit really
Like
hard.
that?
No, like that's a slap. I'm talking hit with the shoulder. Is a fella called Trevor Gilmeister, who's nicknamed the Axe.
I
First
thought
time
it
I
was
played.
called Cement.
No, that's David Gillespie, mate.
Sorry.
Talking about all your old boyfriends. I played Gilly for the first time, and he was reputation as someone who could really whack. And we played him in 1992 and 1993 at Newcastle, and it was pouring with rain, ankle deep mud, and I had moulded soles on, and I was running trying to step and was just slipping into Gilly all night, and I was rattled.
Big M, why don't you give the people a back rower or somebody, sort of when you come up against someone on the edge who, if you were coming up against them, somebody who you were like, oh no, we've got to come up against him again. Somebody who's just going to be running at you all night.
Running against me, who was
Yeah.
I tell you, it was a bloke called Bob Lindner, who played back in the day.
Is he an optometrist
He was an
or an eye?
optometrist,
Yeah.
Bobby was a massive man, but had great speed and great footwork. Was a legend, a Queensland legend, played for Australia, played for Parramatta Eels, Wynnum Manly, and then finished off with the Illawarra Steelers. I remember my first year was playing against Bobby, just going, where the hell, how do you handle this bloke? Massive handful. Okay.
Hang on, I've got one more. Okay.
Still she talks.
Ash is, hey, it's my feedback. Ash is coming up for his first amateur boxing match, and he's asking the family, can you suggest a song for him to walk out to? A good one. I don't know anything about Ash. I did ask him, but he didn't get back.
Song.
Xanadu?
I was about to say the same
Oh.
thing, because I'm interviewing Ty Tuivasa tomorrow, right? And Ty goes out to songs like Barbie Girl, like total songs that are the opposite as you'd expect. So, Ash, do that. Throw your opponent off and just come out to a song.
Xanadu.
Yeah, Xanadu would be great.
There you go.
Cotton
There you
Eye
go,
Joe,
Ash.
Cobber. Cotton Eye Joe.
Cotton Eye Joe. Hit me with your best shot, Pat Benatar.
Don't want to tempt
What about,
his opponents.
What about Careless Whisper, George Michael?
There you go. Careless Whispers. Maybe
That'd be nice.
Red River Rock by Caravan.
How does that go?
Dun, 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 dun. There's no music.
Yeah, right. Yeah, maybe.
What about a bit of Cannibal Corpse, Cobber?
Cannibal Corpse, why not?
Oh.
Roll with the punches. Cooper, before we do that, guys, name a singer or a band who was considered cool but isn't considered so cool these days, Jack.
I went with Ricky Martin.
I just think he was on a bit of a downturn. It was all downhill after La Vida Loca.
La Vida Loca.
Living in north of Oka.
What about She Bangs?
Shebangs, yep.
This may not be popular, but I'm going to say Mick Jagger. He doesn't appeal to me at all.
I agree with you, Trish.
Oh, do you? I
do
thought
agree
that would
with
be
you.
quite unpopular, but
Because he's sort
personally,
of
I
the
think
opposite
that-
of Keith. Keith
He's
always
the
points him
opposite.
as a tight ass
Yeah.
and quite prudish. Yeah, Mick's the cool one. Mick's the uptight guy.
Yeah.
And, yeah, Keith's
Yeah.
Keith's the good guy.
So Mick was my pick for not so cool these days.
Tiny waist too.
Yeah.
Never trust anyone with a 26-inch
I
waist.
don't think I could go out with someone that was smaller than me. Don't.
Well, you're
Don't.
pretty close.
Don't say don't to me. They're the ones who said it. I wear lifts these days, so I can just tower over you.
I couldn't go out with someone with a smaller waist or bigger boobs.
I actually had Vanilla Ice I thought probably a bit of a fall of grace ever since Ice Ice Baby. Although he did have a really funny appearance in That's My Boy with Adam Sandler,
Yeah.
which I think sort of sparked a little bit of a funny side to him, taking the piss out of himself. But probably not as cool as that period.
I think the self-deprecation
Yeah.
is a great way of coming back.
I absolutely agree. I was
Warwick
about to say
Kappa
it.
is like,
Yeah.
I love Warwick. I can watch Warwick Kappa interviewed literally all day. Me and Flesh just send clips to each other of Warwick Kappa.
If someone wants to
because
become cool,
he
yeah,
just takes the piss.
yeah, I agree.
I've got a couple here. I've gone Maroon 5 and Adam Levine.
Oh, you don't like him at
I
all,
just,
do you?
mate, took his shirt off at the Super Bowl, trying to show off. Mate, put your shirt back on. John Mayer, just a piece of wet lettuce. Mick Hucknall from Simply Red. They reckon the biggest cockhead in music, the worst interview. That has been confirmed by 4 or 5 different parties. And the other one, this one might be a little bit unpopular, but it's just the way I think. John Bon Jovi.
Yeah,
I'm
I
more of
agree.
I'm a Richie Sambora man. I like some sort of warts on my guys. And John is just, I think John would be a little anal. We'll take a quick break and back with find out what's been on Cooper's Goat this week. Welcome back to the podcast. Coop, what's been pissing you off, mate?
Not pissing me off this week. This week's actually going to a wrap. Somebody who's asked for a little bit of a shout out. David Nofaluma, the Nofus. He's come to Melbourne in a big way, and he had a terrific game last weekend. I thought the Nofus, and he's just a character. He's brought a lot of energy to the group, a lot of great chat. He refers to himself as the Nofus because he says he's open 24/7, 365 days a year, and doesn't take public holidays. So he's quite a character and playing some really good footy and adding a lot to our group.
Could I just pick him up on one thing? I've seen some of his performances with the West Tigers. I would suggest he does take public holidays.
Uh-oh.
No, mate, he doesn't. He doesn't sleep either, 24/7.
24/7.
We might need to have him on, actually.
Yeah.
Sounds like a bit of a character.
Now, guys, last of the themes before I do my stand-up routine.
I've got a tip for people too, if we could slip it in between that, if that's okay.
No
Slip it in, baby.
No problem. Name a star who was cool, once considered cool, but not cool anymore. Trish?
I'm going to go with Johnny Depp. I think he's a little too
Whoa.
moody
I
for
think
my
he's
liking.
You're wrong.
starting to come around.
No, well, only because of the recent events and people felt sorry for him and he was dragged through the courts, etc., and his name was dragged through the mud. But I just think, in general, I think once he sort of left, I think her name was Vanessa Paradisi. I'm not sure if they were married. They shared a child together. She was a French woman. I think he's sort of lost his way.
Oh,
I think he's lost away. I've got another one, but I'll come back to it in case someone else has that. Yeah, so he's my pick anyway.
I'll tell you the one who I just find him insipid. Is the bloke who's he's got like a little boy's body. He was Orlando Bloom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think Orlando Bloom is poor man's Johnny Depp.
I've actually gone with Tom Cruise.
Oh,
no, I disagree. I think he's
I
back.
think he's circling back.
Yeah, I think he's already back.
Well, yeah, mate, I think Tom Cruise is he's done a bit of a circle back from Top Gun, but I think the whole Oprah situation, and I think just overall he's just not as cool as some of his early 2000s and the 90s.
Oh, mate, in
yeah,
the
but
80s.
to be fair, the Oprah situation, that was prior to his daughter being born, and she's 16,
Yeah.
17.
And things you do for love. I mean, I'd jump up and down on couches too for you, Trish. What about Jack? Have you nominated someone?
Yeah, I went with a pretty controversial one, I'd say, because he was pretty damn cool back in the day. Mark Wahlberg. I think he's gone flat, real flat.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
Yeah. Marky,
I like Mark.
I think he's trying to be cool too much now. I think he was cool, but I think he's. If you follow him on Instagram, I'm about to unfollow him because he's just getting punishing with all the he's a bit of a preacher, and on top of that, he overdoes. Like he just talks about his training too much, and he wears like gym gloves, and it just doesn't look cool at all.
Has he got small hands?
Oh, Cobber,
So I
I
was watching
wouldn't. Glass
think
houses.
No, that's what
Just
I mean.
curiosity.
That's the
I
one thing
don't
we've got
know.
in common. I saw him with gloves on, and I sort of had that same
See,
claws like I have.
I feel that he's an investor in some of those gyms. I'm not sure. Is he?
F45.
Yeah, is he
F45,
F45? Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
he does it so much.
I tell you what,
Jack.
I
That's why he
Don-
talks about his
I
training.
like Donnie Wahlberg, his brother, who's in Blue Bloods.
Yeah.
I like Donnie.
Yeah.
I've gone Russell Brand.
Yeah.
A bit like, he's got older, he's still trying to be that zany teenager. Special
Yeah.
mention, Jamie Oliver, Peter Lettuce, and Chevy Chase and Ellen DeGeneres. Just because
Jeez, you've got a list there, mate.
Chevy Chase, it's come out that he was a bit of a secret, not that nice a guy, and it's come out, of course, that Ellen is a little bit prickly herself. Okay, Trish, do feedback before I, sorry?
No,
tip
no more.
before
No,
I
I
do,
just had a little tip. One of our listeners, Matilda, it was actually, recommended watching on Netflix Trainwreck, which is about Woodstock 1999. I didn't even know that there was a Woodstock in 1999. I recommended it to you, Jack. Have you watched it?
I've finished it. It is absolutely insane. Actually, you know what else I watched? I watched 13 Lives last night on Amazon Prime about the Thailand cave.
Oh, yeah, right.
The divers that went in to save the kids. That's insane. That's probably one of the best things I've watched.
Very
in
good.
ages. Yeah.
Interesting.
I might watch that tonight. There you go. Okay, guys, who would
Oh, you're on.
stand
You're
up
on,
routine?
Johns.
Now, Trish, the key with stand up routine is if
Oh,
I
yeah.
say a certain word, don't pull up and go, "Hey, Matt," and then try
Matt,
to
no,
break
it's
into a
stand-up
conversation.
routine. I'm not talking.
Yeah, good. Okay, enjoy the break, people. Righto. Yeah, I'll say this, and I mean this truthfully here. The English language mystifies.
The English?
What
Have
did I
you
say,
started?
people?
Have you started? Colin?
Sorry. See, they didn't think you'd started either.
I knew he'd started. He was trying to subtly bring it in. Trish, please zip your lips shut.
Sorry.
The English language, people, it mystifies me. It really does. They say it's the toughest language to learn, and I actually agreed. Like things like putt and put, all those sort of things. But it's the terms. Now, there are so many contradictions in the English language. I was having a conversation about this with the local parish priest, Father Down, and I said, Father, there is so much wrong with the language. I said, for instance, people too think masturbation, righto? Masturbation. Now, masturbation, in my opinion, is an art form that no one can master. Right? I mean, I've been doing it now for, just trying to count back. How old am I? 51 now, Trish?
Yeah, you probably started when you were 4.
14. I've been doing it for 37 years, and I'm still finding new and better ways to do it. That's why I'm looking forward to turning 90. I really can't wait. Boys, am I right? Jack, just look. Am I right in suggesting that masturbation is an experienced man's game? You think about when you first started doing it and what you're doing now and how much better you are. I mean, I'll give you an examples, like laying on the arm, making the arm numb, sunscreen, kerosene on the anus, a feather boa tickling the bottom of the scrotum. It just goes on and on. And the other day, I was actually rummaging through Trish's underwear, and I was thinking about the history of my wanking, and I've got to say, this sounds weird, I actually got a little bit emotional thinking about how quickly time goes. I mean, your pop, Gary, Dad, he had a keepsake. He had a wanking scrapbook. And notes of who he was thinking about, old socks, photos of himself wanking with thought clouds above his head. There was one beauty I saw the other day. Only 2 hands. Oh, to be an octopus. Big shout out to Nen and Pop. But there's, and I was thinking about this, how quickly time goes. There's one thing I'm going to really miss when I die, and that's wanking. And it made me think too, if you got caught wanking in heaven, would they throw you out? This question, did you ever think about that? I just hope that when you go to the afterlife that they have hands. I think it. People, that's all. Have a good night. Speak to you next week.
I liked it.
Yeah, not bad, Cobber. Not bad for an audience that was probably against you from the start.
Guys, we can talk and argue about this forever.
Please send me your ratings for Matt's. And actually, you could just nominate a winner of the 4 of us. You've heard all of us now. Just send it through. And given that it's going to come through my Instagram and my people are quite nice, I think I know who the winner might be.
Cooper, Jack, have a great week. Trish, go well. And guys, we'll speak to you next Friday. Have a great week.